Today we're going to be ranking every upcoming Roblox anime game from worst to best. Obviously you already know I got the obvious games, Rell Seas, Holy War X, and games of that nature, but I definitely didn't get everything. So if there's a game that I missed that you genuinely believe is good enough that needs to be talked about, definitely let me know and I'm going to try to get it its own separate video. And just in general, I want to cover more upcoming games on my channel, so definitely let me know if there's some games I don't know about. And also I want to give them a ranking at the end of how excited I personally am for it and what I believe its potential is. For example, let's say we look at the sneaks for a new game and they genuinely look pretty good and I rate it A tier. Y'all could also be in the comments and give your rating, and maybe I can even do a community poll. I think it would just be pretty cool. But with that being said, let's get straight into the rankings. I stream on Twitch daily.
God did.
So first we got C tier, and there definitely are games that I believe are worse than C tier, but they're definitely not something I want to put in the video because there are a lot of games on this list as it is. So unfortunately I gotta put games that I even believe have great potential still at somewhat low ratings, and the first game has got to be Vasties. If you couldn't tell, Vasties is a One Piece game and it does visually look really great, and if I'm being honest, that's really what's carrying most of its rating. Although the game does show a lot of potential simply because of the graphics, we really haven't seen much more than that. We haven't seen combat, we haven't heard exactly how the progression is going to work, and in general there's been a lot of issues with their development that they've been really transparent about. So with the lack of showcase development and the fact that there's so many other One Piece games that are looking so good, it's really hard for me to put it or justify it anywhere above C. If there were no other One Piece games, I could definitely see it being at BRA, but that's simply not the case. Next, we got what's probably the most visually appealing Battlegrounds game, and it kind of pains me to put the game at C because I was really high on Anime Showdown, and for good reason I would still say. For those that don't know, Anime Showdown came out and it came out as paid access, and it got a lot of players at first. I don't remember the exact amount, but essentially it died out very quick, and this was mostly due to the combination of it being paid access and also the fact that there was like 8 characters in the game, and that's simply not enough compared to the competition. Although I believe the game has the best visuals and probably the best combat out of most of its competition, it definitely didn't have enough characters to compete with games like ABA with over 100 characters, and that's something I didn't see at the time. And also it just seems like people don't care for a better version of ABA when they already have so much time and dedication into ABA. Next we have B tier, and everything from B tier and above genuinely looks like it's gonna be a really good game. And I want to start B tier off with a game that's supposed to release in 2023 that genuinely looks really good, and this game is Tales of Tenorio, and it's essentially a Pokemon game. The game was initially being developed with actual Pokemon, but Nintendo threatened them, so they had to make custom Pokemon instead. And although that does suck, the game still looks really good, and I'm definitely going to be playing it on release. I believe the game plays just like a normal Pokemon game where you go through a story and fight gyms and whatnot, and it's also got voice lines for the characters, which is definitely really unique for a Roblox game. Overall, if you do like Pokemon, you're probably going to find this game pretty enjoyable, and if you don't, you're probably going to find it pretty boring, and I think it's pretty obvious what we're going to get with this game. The next game in B tier has got to be Nindo. Nindo is one of the few Naruto games being developed right now, and I would be lying if I didn't act like that had a lot to do with its rating. Now let me keep it honest, Nindo does look pretty good from what we have seen so far, but we haven't seen that much so far, and because of that, it definitely has an argument to have a lot more potential than the games above it, but it also has the chance to be way worse than I'm hoping. So with that being said, the game does feel somewhat like a gamble right now, so I'm definitely going to go with the safe bet at B tier, but depending on how optimistic you are about the game, I could see it anywhere from C to A. Next in B tier as well, we got Beyond Nen. Beyond Nen is one of the few Hunter x Hunter games in development, and it's supposed to release this year, I believe. Now visually, obviously Beyond Nen looks really good, and especially to see that in a Hunter x Hunter game is definitely a good sign. It gets a lot of GPO and Project Slayers jokes because it obviously looks very similar, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Now in my opinion, Beyond Nen looks like the best Hunter x Hunter game I've seen so far, and not only that, it also seems like it's the closest Hunter x Hunter game to actually releasing. And if you couldn't tell by my PFP, I'm a big fan of Hunter x Hunter, so this actually matters to me, so that's mainly why I have it in B tier. The only reason I don't have it higher is because I just need to see a bit more. If progression ends up looking and feeling very good, I'll definitely consider moving it up. Now the next game in B tier is Venture, and Venture looks like it's made by a AAA studio. I'm not gonna lie, it looks amazing. Now Venture is a Souls-like MMORPG game, which definitely does sound appealing to a lot of people, I would assume, but I definitely still think it's a more niche group of people. And a big part of why I say that is just the fact that it doesn't have an IP behind it. It's not an anime game at all, to be honest. It's really just its own solo project, but a lot of Venture's fan base comes from the anime community, so it doesn't really help it in any way, to be honest. If Venture ends up being a really good game, I don't believe we'll have a problem getting players, but if it ends up being more of a mediocre game, I think we'll definitely have problems getting a lot of players. And I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I initially had Venture at A tier. The main reason I lowered it is simply because we haven't seen that much. We got the trailer, which really didn't have much gameplay in it, and that's about it. And even with all the things I just said, I really wouldn't be surprised at all if Venture ends up releasing amazing and being one of the best games on Roblox. Now we're finally at A tier, and to start us off, we got Anime Legends. I know what all of you guys are thinking. Don't think I don't know. Y'all grandchildren are gonna love Anime Legends. And that's probably been the biggest problem with the Anime Legends. They don't show very much progress, and it almost seems like we got worse from where we started. I've seen a lot of people say the initial Anime Legends trailer was better than the second one we just got, and I don't necessarily think that's that crazy to say. Anime Legends in A tier might seem kind of high to some of y'all considering we haven't seen much in 2 years, but to me, Anime Legends still looks really great and has a really great concept. Now, I don't know if it's going to be executed on correctly, so I am being kind of optimistic, but that's what I gotta do for most of these games. If anything, it's kind of sad to see a game from undisputed #1 to debatably A tier now. That's kind of crazy. There definitely has been people over hating, saying the game looks trash now, and I definitely think that's far from the case. The new trailer, if I had never seen anything else about Anime Legends, I would still say the game is about A tier. The next game in A tier is Golden Piece Adventure, and I know this might be a bit controversial since a lot of people don't even know about Golden Piece, but they actually have a decent amount of fruit showcases and some really good looking models. And I got to talk to the owner about the concept and everything, and to be honest, it's very similar to what I would want if I was making my own One Piece game. I really encourage you guys after this video to go and look at my Golden Piece video. The game looks really good so far, but we actually know a lot about how Golden Piece is supposed to work compared to some of these other games. For example, Golden Piece progression is supposed to be storyline progression, and me personally, as long as the story is good, I do mess with storyline progression. And they also have a similar crew system to Arcane Odyssey, like where you can recruit NPC crewmates and they have different rarities and values, and I think that's a really cool concept. And also, they've shown a lot of creativity. For example, they have the cube fruit, which is something I've never seen in a One Piece game. And it's not just that, they've actually made the fruit look really useful and really good, so it's just something I like to see. And if I'm being completely honest, if it wasn't for Rell Seas, this is the One Piece game I would be looking forward to the most. But we'll see how well Golden Piece is actually able to execute on their ideas. The next game I have in A tier is Clover RPG. Obviously, Clover RPG is a Black Clover game, and I was able to actually test the game, and I had a really good experience on it. The game did feel pretty polished for a game this early in development, and it had really good combat. The combat is parry based, similar to Deep Oaken, and it was really enjoyable. If I'm being honest, all Clover RPG has to do is make the progression a bit more interesting and add a ton of content, and then the game would be really good. Now, where it does get kind of unfortunate is they are still definitely pretty early. The game only has 4 magics, and I'm not gonna lie to you, if you played the game, it doesn't scream a Black Clover game. It just feels like more like a magic game, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but if they do want to actually go more into the Black Clover side of the game and end up getting a bunch of Black Clover magics or Black Clover content to do, maybe a storyline or something, I think it would make the game really amazing, and that's all it really needs. Now for the last game of A tier, I really wanted to put this at S tier, and I'm talking about Pocket Anime. And I'm not gonna lie, I was so close to putting it in S tier, but I really just couldn't justify it, and I'm really just biased, I'm not gonna lie. Because I really love the concept of Pocket Anime, but unfortunately, we haven't heard a lot from them at all. All we got was the trailer, and essentially the game is Pokemon, but with characters from all anime. And the fact is, they're gonna have infinite content. They're never gonna run out of things to add. I love Pokemon, and it's obviously a Pokemon turn-based type game. And unless this game releases and ends up being complete trash, it's so hard for me to see a world where this game isn't really popular. Not only does it appeal to the Roblox audience with a million anime characters, you know, like your anime simulators or anime adventures, it also just appeals to people outside of Roblox. People love Pokemon and love anime. It's a good combination, and I'd be very surprised if it's bad. So to the Pocket Anime devs, please tell me you haven't been selling. Please show us something, a clip, a sneak, another trailer, a Discord, because they don't even have a Discord, by the way. We finally had S tier, and the first game in S tier is Holy War X. For those that don't know, Holy War X is a 7 Deadly Sins game, but it's more loosely inspired because they have a lot of stuff from other anime as well. But in my humble opinion, Holy War X gotta have the best graphics of any Roblox game I've ever seen. And there's very few games that I even think you could argue have better graphics than Holy War X. The flight system Holy War X has looks amazing. The city they have also looks amazing. The only real problem I have is they've completely gone silent on us. The owner, Alfrex, said in April we were supposed to get a tsunami of content in a few weeks. It is currently September. Where's my tsunami of content? But I'm sure the devs at Holy War X are still working really hard. It just does suck though. The game has almost been delayed for a year now. It was initially supposed to come out in December of last year. It's almost December this year. Will it come out? Maybe, I guess. We don't know. The main upside though is imagine how much better the Holy War X we're gonna get is compared to the Holy War X that was supposed to release last year in December. Those of you that actually watched my channel already knew this was coming, but my #1 game, S tier, Rell Seas. And I don't really think I need to explain why Rell Seas is so good, but let me explain it anyways for those that don't know. Rell Seas is essentially what all us One Piece Roblox Roblox players have been asking for a long time. If you compare it to games like Block Streets, Rell Seas is more targeted towards like grown men compared to little kids. It looks like it's gonna have features and qualities that are more close to an actual game than a Roblox game. Rell Seas finna have 32 fruits. We've already seen sneaks up until Wano. It's crazy what they've been able to put together in such a short amount of time. But let me get out of my mouth so we could talk about some of these negatives. And really the only bad thing we've seen so far is just a few slight delays. They're not like huge delays, but for example, the Rell Seas movie was canceled. Then the Rell Seas video we're supposed to get this month was also canceled. And to be honest, it just seems like development is taking a lot longer than pretty much everybody expected, which kind of sucks. But if you don't know about Rell Seas, just go to my channel. I got pretty much everything about Rell Seas on there. And if you made it this far in the video, you probably like my content, so I'd appreciate if you would like or subscribe. And let me know if you prefer like 5-minute videos or like 10-minute videos, like longer form. Either way, I'm gonna try to be more consistent with the upload, so I'm probably gonna start covering a lot more games on the channel. So let me know if there's a Roblox game you know about that you want me to talk about. Either way, I appreciate y'all, love y'all, see y'all later.
Life. There's Roblox.